All right,
Yes,
we are live, everybody. Take it away.
I know. This is a takeover. So my name's Clodagh, and I host a podcast called Agency Life. I had the pleasure of having Trevor on the show. Geez, Trevor, when do you think it was? Like maybe, do you want to stab a guess when it was? Like 8 or 9 months ago or something?
I
I
mean,
don't even know.
yeah, so I met
Too
her at a
long.
wonderful conference called the Digital Agency Summit, if I'm even knowing the conference, and was on her podcast last year. But man, things have changed so much. So yeah, it's been probably
Yeah.
10 months.
Right. Yeah, I think it was whatever we feel it was definitely say it was only 9 months, it feels like 9 years
Yeah.
because of what's going on in the world. And my
Yeah.
podcast, I talk to agency owners about their life, their journey. How did they start their agency? They always have some crazy stories. And now more than ever, I have been staying in touch with Trevor. I've been following along on his journey, his TikToks, his Instagram, his updates. He is amazing. If you're not following him, get on there, but especially your TikToks. He's full of personality.
Thank
And
you.
so, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world, I work with businesses all over the world. So, I stay in touch with kind of everything that's happening. And so, I feel like I'm at different levels with everything that's going on. And Trevor and I were talking and let's get in touch again. Let's have another follow-up podcast to talk about what has changed in your business. So we were going to have this chat anyway, but we
Mhm.
may as well do it live and we may as well do it on the podcast. So
Might as well.
Trevor, for to refresh people, and what I'll do is I'll do a reminder of which episode it is, and I'll tag it in the show notes. But tell us about your business and how you got into this crazy world of digital agencies.
Yeah, and excuse my throat. I just got a tickle, of course, right when we go
Yeah.
live breakfast. So don't nobody worry. I'm totally safe. That's really funny. We're live. So yeah, so my name's Trevor. I own a video agency called CorporateFilming and Franchise Filming. I've been filming since I was 13. We help companies tell their story to drive sales. There's a story in everything, and we are really pivoting towards a subscription model where it's an ongoing basis, no US travel fees, just having companies give them the ability so they can focus on growth, so we can focus on the video.
Amazing. That's really, really cool. And so up until like we had, we met last year and things were going incredibly well in your business and everything was happening towards the end of last year, the beginning of this year. What was sort of some indicators that things were changing? Obviously, nobody could predict a pandemic, but what were you kind of feeling business wise, and what sort of challenges were coming into your business?
I mean, I think with the whole COVID thing, right, which that's the whole topic right now, right? But I feel like what I felt was changing was people just want more and more things taken off of their plate. And
Yeah.
especially in our roles, the companies that win the deals are the ones that just handle everything. So I was more on the front line. I was like, man, all these pain points I keep hearing. So there are 1,000 video people, right, that film, but how many of them actually solve pain points, actually give people their time back? So that was that kind of switch I saw being at Expos and hearing pain points. So we started to pivot our business more and more towards this
Yeah.
idea of having this consistent video creation for one annual cost, and the price will never raise whether we film in LA, Michigan, Texas. And that's just kind of the pain point. That's really the switch I saw last year is
Right.
just C-suites want things taken off their hands.
Simplified and easy. Yeah, I think so. What sometimes happens in the digital agency world, the passion that we feel for video marketing, online marketing, websites, all of that, because we're so passionate about it and because it's free, as in it's available on the internet, we feel that a lot of people are as passionate or get as deep into it as we do. Whereas a lot of people just want us to do it for them, right? They're not as passionate about it. They don't want to learn how it works. They don't want to kind of half learn and do a half implementation. I think there's more and more of that message that people want to be really, really good and a specialist at their role, and they don't want to half do things.
And I think every entrepreneur and new business owner makes this mistake when you first start. You're like, I want to help everybody. Hey, you, hey, you, hey, you. And because like we just want income. We just want to be able to kind of make a name. And to be honest, some people may disagree with me on this. You may have to do that your first year just to get your name out there. Just kind of get logos on. But after 2 or 3 years, I mean, you got to have your. I'm reading a book called Find Your Zebra. I'll find the book, and it's about fine tuning who your ideal prospect is, and it's about niching. And to kind of go off what you're saying is we're kind of all over the place, but the companies that win in the end are the ones that have their message defined, and we help this industry do this. If you don't fit that mold, then we can't help you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and a lot of let's take that from you. Let's concierge, give that to me. Let's do that for you. There are of course people who want to learn, but they're a different type of person, and that's a different type of industry. So let's go, if we go before, so to sort of, let's say before COVID, what were the types of companies you were helping and what were you doing? And then let's talk about what's happened after.
Yeah, so it's so crazy. I've probably pivoted every year and a half. And it wasn't on purpose. I just feel like I was just listening more. And I still have a lot to learn on the sales side and the marketing side, but I just stopped rambling and I started asking questions. And it was more, and once again, it's more than about the product you sell. It's a deeper emotional issue they're like trying to solve. And that took me years to get, because I'm like, what do you mean? People just want video? Like what? But it's deeper than that. So we used to go back. I started my first company at 13. I was converting VHS to DVD, getting $14 a disc. Yes,
I love that story. It's so cool.
VHS, everybody. I mean, Be Kind, Rewind, I think was a Blockbuster.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Blockbuster.
And I fell in love with that. I could buy the latest Game Boy. Then at age 16, I actually bought the domain eventfilming.net. I was converting family weddings. Sorry to my aunts and uncles that I filmed your weddings. It wasn't that good of a video back then, but they also didn't really pay for it. So they still liked it, right? But it's like, and then you learn. And then right after college, I really scaled event filming. So at our peak, we were doing 100 weddings a year, and it was so fun and beautiful and humbling. But a lot of issues happened because we won those deals because we were the lowest. Right. That's why we won. Right. And for anyone listening, you don't have to be the lowest. I know you may.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Maybe do it in the beginning. Yeah. Maybe do it to get the ball rolling, but don't do that.
In the beginning, once again, do free work, do things cheap at the front, because you can't sell a high price item unless you have work to prove that you can do that, right? So you do have to do some front work. But after event filming, you know, I've always been about names that say what we do. You don't have to ask. How event filming wasn't taken, I don't know. CorporateFilming.com or .net wasn't taken, so I bought that domain. So we help corporations film videos, right? So to kind of wrap up on your initial question, we pivoted from corporate filming. We now opened up a new division called franchise filming, and we help franchises drive sales with videos of their story.
Awesome. So what does that look like now? Give us an example.
Yeah, we just launched the website on Friday. We've been in franchising for years, and I think the one thing, it's really hard to break into an untapped market. It's really hard. But once you do it, you just are the number one because no one else is in the space.
No one got in there. Yeah.
No one got in there. So franchising, I was walking around these expos. Like, I encourage people, you have to get away from your laptop. You have to, once COVID's over, you have to be at expos. You have to be at chamber events. You have to be in front of people that are your buyers. And I just kept hearing I didn't see any video companies at these franchise shows. And this is like Dunkin' Donuts, this is Subway. I saw even the big guys have the crappiest videos. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. I know they have the budget. They just paid
Right.
$100,000 for this booth,
Yeah.
right? And then we just started to do franchise videos, and then it picked up. So now I was like, how do we niche ourselves? Going back to our first topic, niche yourself. Now we're both corporate filming, franchise filming. Both are rocking, scaling. And I don't think I really ever mentioned the word videographer. I mentioned video production agency that drives your sales, no travel fees. Most importantly, videos done in 10 days. It's just
Whoa.
this hit. Exactly. You're right. The pain points. People say, oh, my video takes so long. I don't want to pay for my internal guy to fly
Right.
to Texas. Listen to pain points, I guess, is my point of all that conversation
Yeah.
I just made.
That's good. So when everything happened, so you're in Long Beach,
Yep.
in California, right? So you're currently at the beach. Congratulations on your new apartment. I've been following you. You are a legend getting your apartment in the middle of moving in the middle of a pandemic. And you also cracked me up by putting up the fact that you just signed a lease for an office at the beginning of a COVID pandemic.
Just signed a 3-year lease when COVID first began, and you can only laugh. You can only laugh at that. There's
Of course. Yeah.
all of this will eventually end, and will your company be ready for it? And that's what we're prepping for, is marketing budgets. Budgets are like sinks. I actually heard this quote. They drain, but eventually they're going to fill back up.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
really stuck with me.
So before this, when it all got announced, and California's been particularly hard, rigid, strict, as opposed to other states in the country. I always surprise people with my knowledge of international news. I kind of know what's going on a little bit everywhere, just so I can relate and start a conversation. But I don't know the in-depth. So when it all got locked down, what was the initial reaction from the clients? Like, what was the immediate things? Did you have things in the calendar and was like, we can't fly? What was the kind of instant stuff that went on?
So it's crazy. I mean, corporate filming, we film humans and we film events, right? So when events can't happen and when humans can't leave their home, you're bound to have a break in business, right? So what really kept us afloat was our subscription model. Well, I think that's what we talked about when we first chatted.
Yeah.
And it's really the vision of where I see us going is no more one-offs. Like so like the subscription model, clients were still paying us like monthly, even though we were editing, but we weren't filming new things.
Right.
And since this was a pre-approved budget, it's not like they had to beg their boss to write the PO. It was already pre-approved. And we let many people pause payments. We let people sometimes lower their investment with us because we really wanted to be a partner with them, because I know they will come back. Once again, budgets, right? They will fill back up and
the sink will fill. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's what really kept us afloat. And the idea of this subscription model of just, we can still create videos for you, even though we can't film new things, because we've already filmed for you many, many times.
And so you were able to adapt that. So if I was a company now and I'm going, how am I going to get all this video work done that I have had planned in my calendar, but now what is the model that you have now for businesses?
So we're actually creating a COVID safety list for all filming days. Shout out to Autumn on our team. She's really heading that up, where we're going to have a checklist. I'll show you.
Show me.
Branding. We got some franchise filming masks.
Incredible.
I'm gonna cover my eye, but right there. Sorry, my camera's inverted. So
you know how to wear them.
Yeah, I know how to wear masks. And so because a lot of clients are asking, what do you mean you film? I thought there's a shelter. And a lot of my new sales kind of took a hit because I didn't really know how to show them that we're staying safe. So our first shoot we're doing next week, I'm actually
Right.
bringing in a film crew to film our film crew being
To
safe.
document it. Brilliant idea. Yeah, and you can do some camera video with yourself with your iPhone, and you can do something. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. I absolutely commend anyone who's opening a business, opening anything, or going back to work. Just show me what it looks like from when I walk in the door. That is such a good idea, and that's a really good point for everyone. And even if you're opening up your agency and you're the first person who's gone in, just for your team, take pictures, take a video, walk them through so that they're not worried about what everything's going to look like. If you're there first, take the video to show people what it's like and how safe it is.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. The thing that I've learned, I'm sure you know, but it's so hard to tackle. Most prospects or clients won't tell you if they're confused or they don't know what to do. They'll just stop writing back to you. So
Yeah.
we have to, if we know something's going to be in front of us to stop a sale or stop a filming day like in us, we want to tackle it and be like, hey, this is how we're being safe. Something else that we pivoted though is we offered a way to get people on Zoom. So just like this, and it I can't think of the word, lifted off. It took off. It took off. I can't think of his words. It took off. So now exactly how we're like this, all companies have to do is give us emails of people they want us to talk to on film. We make them the full box. We ask them questions like they would in person. Why do you use XYZ company? Why do you love working for them? But then we ask for photos and video, and we add lower thirds, we add music. Don't let COVID stop you from still making marketing stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. No need to. We all have the technology. You can set up the room the way you like it. There's lots more you can do. Absolutely. Yep. That's great. So what's been so far, you had to relaunch things or repackage things, or what did you physically do in the agency?
Yeah. So what we did is we actually rebranded, recolor paletted, if that's the past tense of that word, got a new color palette, got a new logo. We animated our logo. So these guys lifting up the logo. It's just, this is actually going to be retired. Actually, the first time I'm realizing that this was my logo when I first had when I was 15.
Wow.
Finally retiring it 15 years later. I'm just realizing that. So it's going to be a new logo. So we just rebranded, but what we also did is, states are starting to open back up. So we're doing a filming day in Pennsylvania in 2 weeks, in Michigan in 3 weeks. So our services, to answer your question, are going to be half in-person filming, which are more expensive because people, travel, resources. And what's half the cost is something like this, because it's less, resources. So we pass along those savings to you guys. So it's an ability to get people on Zoom consistently. So we have one client that gave us 25 emails and she goes, I don't have time to deal with this. Get them on Zoom. And I go, done. And our team takes it. And we just did one at 10 today and it was great. So
amazing. That is really, really cool. So if someone's doing the subscription, do you go out and do one lot of filming? Is that how you do it? And then you spread it over because you'll produce the editing over time instead of interrupting people constantly going, oh, this month, oh, this month, oh, this month.
Yeah. So yep. The way we can do it is we can come in for like one full day or 2 days back to back, let's say. And then we have a whole year of content from those filming days. Because we know that CEOs can't film with us every month, right? So we can tackle that and do that all at once.
That is very, very impressive. That is very, very cool. So what are you excited about? And what are you excited about next? And how are you going to manage the travel thing? Like, talk to me about your logistics.
Yeah, so our team's going to be traveling soon, fully, masks on, gloves, everything. Travel's really cheap now. I've been on a couple flights to see family.
I know, I've seen you. You were super brave. You went back home to the family and then I saw you. I was like, you were the first person I saw in an empty airport flying around. Tell us what that's like, actually.
So, man, it was fine. I didn't want something I didn't want something happening in the world to hinder me from seeing my family.
Yeah.
So I was safe. I did hand sanitizer. I mean, the truth is, guys, we don't actually know the pizza guy that gave you pizza. We don't know where he's been. So I really think the whole airport, I would love to see people flying more, being safe, being a mask, like still be safe, because I think people are underestimating what being at home will do to people, right? So still be safe, still listen to laws, but I mean, I was fine. I was on a flight. It was totally fine. So in terms of filming though, our team's still going to be safe. They're all going to get tested before we do our first shoot. We're doing a whole checklist so that clients know corporate filming, which is a big selling point as well, they're going to be safe before they meet my client to film.
Right. And everyone knows, and there's plenty of lists on safety and things like that are out there. So it is possible to do that without a doubt.
Yeah.
The difference with the flights that you were taking though, Trevor, as opposed to the flights that are happening in Europe now, there wasn't anyone on your flight.
Okay, true. And I was doing very short flights. I was going from LA to Sacramento. So that was like,
yeah, I've seen people on flights now and they're all on top of each other. And it's like,
yeah,
it wasn't like that when Trevor was flying.
no, I mean, I've been doing regional flights.
Yeah.
I don't think they're booked. I'm sure if I went to New York, that LA I'm sure that would be packed, but yeah.
What have you learned about yourself in the lockdown, Trevor? What surprised you, and what have you learned?
I think what really impressed me was how much our team can just execute on things, right? And something we've learned is, you can never have a big enough safety net, right? I think that's the one thing. I think they say you should have 3 months savings all the time. For some people, that's not possible. So how do you work at 1 month, right? Then it becomes a month and a half. So with us, we actually learned that we cut a lot of expenses. We actually became a leaner and meaner team because of COVID, right? So, and we put process, like the thing I've told people is if during COVID you are not making time to rebrand, do that checklist, create your website, create that, like we redid our entire process and relaunched an entire brand when COVID was in place, because I don't sit still. Like my team hates it about me. They love it about me. I don't sit still. Like I haven't had breakfast yet and it's 11 o'clock. I'm just going, right? So
don't get hangry on me, Trevor.
I know. So I think the one thing that I want to tell people is like, if you are lacking business or if you are kind of stuck, what can you work on that you have control over? So your website, your marketing, your PDF, like work on something internal so that when leads are coming back, you'll look like this powerhouse.
And talk to people as well, because everyone is feeling it and the industry is very helpful and this is not the time for backstabbing or being worried about your competitors. Everyone's kind of struggles. So if you can see what somebody's doing and it looks like it's working, or you need some help, just start talking and you will get the right connections, you'll get the right support, you'll get the right ideas. It's definitely all out there. How did the team cope, Trevor, working remote fully? Because I know you're a tight bunch. You obviously in the filming, there's a lot of interaction, probably more than a normal agency, right? Because there's a lot of out and about and working together. How did everyone cope being separated and working remote?
So I am an extrovert times 100, right? So at the front, COVID was really hard because I want to be around people. Expos are I could go to a 3-day expo every week for the rest of my life. And some people hate that. I thrive on that, right?
Yeah.
So my personality, and my dad, who's 65, will be like, that will eventually go away. So make sure you kind of enjoy that now that you enjoy talking for 3 days. But the one thing, how our team is coping, I mean, I know they enjoy being from home. One of them drives. She's been with me 5 years. She drives over an hour to get into work, which I love. So I was happy that she's been home for 3 months. Our team, how we started to cope with each other is we required a daily film chat like this. So at 9:05 every morning, I don't care if your makeup's not done or if your hair's not done, you need to be on video, and we're going to talk about the 3 things you did yesterday and the 3 things you're going to accomplish today.
Brilliant.
Because a lot of the pain points as leaders were like, I trust our team, which we do, but man, are they fulfilling their full day? And by having this daily meeting, you can kind of hold them accountable. You can say, oh, don't do that, do this. But more importantly, it allows your team to see what you as the leader is doing. So you tell them, I tell them what I'm doing. So it's just all around transparency that at first was really awkward. So if there are any leaders out there that are like, a 10-minute daily meeting, what the heck are we going to talk about? It's going to be so awkward the first couple of weeks. You're like, welcome, guys. Like, what are you doing today? After you do it for a month, you will never not do it because it allows you to just focus. Your team rocks, you rock, you know what they're doing. And it's fantastic. And it's a time to catch up because with COVID, they're not seeing people either. So they need to see a face. We had a weekly virtual happy hour too for like a month or two where I said no work talk. I had some wine. My team had whiskey. It's just, we added, people want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And I think we as leaders, we sometimes forget that. They want to be a part of something. So having video, So
in the new world as well, it does give a good, sets the tone around, as long as they are accomplishing these 3 things, how and when and where and how they do them, you know, i.e. lying on the ground with their laptop, standing up at a stand-up desk, you know, whatever way they're going to achieve those things, because that has been a difficult challenge. I spoke about this at a virtual summit today, actually, was women at home, we see things that need to be done, whereas and this isn't trying to be a sexist thing, it's just the way we see things, like messy situations, they kind of talk to us. So right, it's just the way we're programmed. So in order for us to work productively, we need the area to be clean. Or if we go into the kitchen, there's been many's a row in homesteads over the last COVID, because if we go in to make a cup of tea and the kitchen's messy, we will start cleaning the kitchen. It's just a thing we do, you know, it's just the way we're programmed. But you know, guys they can just go, well, that's not a priority right now because I'm working. Like, you know, it's just a different headspace that can happen. I'm not trying to be over generalistic, but by saying 3 things, they can go, right, let me put my head down and let me get these 3 things done by 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to take a break and I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to tidy the house, and then I'll wrap up in the afternoon. So I think that being flexible with work hours is so important right now.
Yeah. And I think that's something I've really learned to do because, you know, as managers, we should, and I'm still learning every day on how to do this, right? One of my favorite books is any book by John C. Maxwell, any book that he has on leadership. I mean, it's just eye-opening. We have to be empathetic. We have to understand that, like, if they're not the business owner, you can't expect them to want to do the same things you do. You have to, they never will, unless you make them 50% owner, they will never have the same drive as you. And I think at the front, I'm like, why aren't these guys right? So just have empathy to why they're doing things, and also understand they're at home. They're probably doing laundry. I was doing laundry from home too. Let them do their thing. And as long what's great about this daily meeting is if you define their tasks, then you have nothing to worry about. It's up to you if you want to give them 4 tasks, right? But you know, that's the daily meetings. And my mentor, I'm going to send this to him. He pushed me to do it for years. I said, we don't need no daily. But then I was slacking my team every 10 minutes. What are you working on? And it annoyed the crap out of them.
It would do. Absolutely.
Would, right?
That is a great tip. And I think it sounds like you'll bring that with you after all of this. What What are you doing personally for yourself, and apart from the business things? Is there anything new you're doing personally that you're going to take with you into the new world?
Man, the new world. I always hear like the new normal, and I think it's going to be, I don't think I, that's a good question. You kind of caught me off guard.
Woo!
I think the one thing this has taught me is I need to be focusing and executing on the only thing I can do. It's not updating the website. It's not making a COVID checklist. It's not shipping mugs. It's, as the owner, it needs to be scaling and closing deals. And COVID really taught me that if I'm not doing that, then I need to delegate that to a trusted person, because
Yeah.
only I right now at this stage of our business can really close a deal, can truly take it from hello to close, and then I
Yeah.
pass it off to the team. So I think, so personally, it made me realize that I need to surround myself with our current team, but also bring on more talent so I can focus on closing deals. And yeah, I'm not sure the answer. I fell in love with like reading. I read each day at 5 a.m. I sit right there. I look at the ocean and
Nice.
I read. So it's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Definitely teaching someone how to close as well. It will be if you bringing somebody in to do the sales, because then you can detach yourself as the emotional person in the business from, not that you won't care about the deals, but when the owner's involved in the deals, there's just so much more there.
Yeah.
You'll have a totally different business, but all in due course. Like there's no rush there. You've been really vocal, Trevor. I know I've seen you getting quite, angry at some points at what's happening, the way the government has handled everything that's going on in your state. There's some days that I can just feel it from you, from your posts.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about what's been going on and what you feel, because we talked about this before. It's like there has been, once this kicked off, there was a all out to save lives and health, which of course it was health, 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 health. Economy was right down the back of the bus. And now it's all economy, economy, economy. Come on. And the health is like, oh, figure it out yourself. Talk to me about what you've been experiencing in your own, because I think you can, like, we all thought America was the United States of America, but we've soon realized you're 50 countries all figuring it out yourself. But what's your viewpoint on how things have been handled?
And I love the question. I sometimes have to tread a little bit light because as business owners, what we say is a reflection of our team and our brand, right? So I took some learning lessons of the timings of my postings. I could have waited a little more. Did I need to say it? To be fully transparent, I do think that we are starting to live in this world that unless you 100% agree with a certain view, you are evil. And I think that's a very
I know.
it's a very
Yeah.
dangerous thing to go down, because when I would post about the safety of businesses, people are saying, well, we need change. And I go, well, can't I care about two things?
I know, right? You're not, yeah, I've noticed a lot of that going on. And it is okay. I would see your posts. I knew what was coming through because I know you as a person. You're passionate and you've got an opinion. You want to get it off your chest. It is okay to do that. That's what we came online for social media for in the first place, to have a bit of an old whoa, like say our opinion. We're not hurting someone, and don't use it for hate.
Mhm.
But I do feel the post that you had, I could feel the passion coming through and what you were feeling about everything that was going on. It wasn't evil or wrong, but you were getting backlash for that.
Yeah, and I think, I sometimes forget the power of social media, that the algorithm kicks it up if you suddenly get like two people to comment. The algorithm kicks it up. So when a couple people start commenting, I'm like, oh wow, since when do I have this much following on my personal Facebook? So it kind of caught me off guard. A, it made me realize the power of social, but B, I think it kind of came down to where I needed to listen a little bit to what's going on, understand the perception of my posts, but also if people are going to try and enlighten me, then they should be open to be enlightened as well.
Yeah, it's a two-way street, right?
And it's a two-way street. And I even now just thinking about it, I think infuriates me is the wrong word, but for people just to say that if you want restaurants to be open, then you don't care about the health of the people. And if just one person dies from COVID because of a business opening, then you care about businesses. I'm like, guys, no, nobody will, like 40% of small business will not make it through.
I know.
Like, we're technically a small business I think it's under the 2 million mark, right? Is
Right.
the rating. We're going to make it through. But I feel like people need to understand that this PPP loan doesn't save everybody. Ethical business owners are not going to go out to Hawaii with that money. They're going to put it back in their business, pay their lease payments. So I think if people want me to be enlightened about how I post, they also need to understand that we cannot, and I'm trying to get more vocal because I'm just over people telling me how to think.
Right.
We cannot close the economy again. We cannot. What can we do? Do we give people robot suits where they're totally safe walking around? We need to get the economy buying again. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no expert on this, but I do talk to enough people all around the world to see where it has had a mixture of both, is people taking care of their own personal state. So that's the masks, the hygiene, the gloves, the not interacting with parties and people without masks and things. So it's the proper understanding of how I manage myself while an economy in a shop opens. You know, like we've just had our shops open here a couple of weeks ago. And it did feel comfortable to go in there, but mask and gloves and all that. And so far, it's only been a few weeks, but I think it's the mixture, isn't it? It's not the pretending it's okay and just going back to the way it was. It's like, okay, this thing is open. Can we social distance? The problem with the bars, though, like, that's the big problem. It's like you can go into a bar and go, I'm going to really behave myself and socially distance. And then 3 shots in, you're like, who cares? I'm invincible.
Yeah, I may get into some hot water saying this, and I need to make sure I phrase my words right. I love the movements. I love everyone that is protest. I love it. Protest, I love it. But for people to say we need to close down restaurants and owners are going out of business, yet 1 million people can walk in the road, not 6 feet apart, but for them to say that's okay because it's for a better cause, I don't buy that. If people can do that and go on the road, which I love that, then restaurants, which every restaurant I've been to has listened to the law. Okay, we're not talking about the nightclub that let 1,000 teens in. We're not talking or the rape in Joshua Tree that are happening, right? We're not talking about, even though those do look fun, but I would never go there now. So like, we're talking about that if that can happen, if you can allow, if 1 million people can protest in the road, then mom and pop bakery shop should be able to stay open and serve people inside. It's that.
Yeah, and figure out do the due diligence and figure it out. Yeah, it seemed to, it was a tough, we could see that it was a tough one to witness, but again, it kind of just took everyone by storm. It was such a quick knee jerk, you know, that it was such a overhaul. It was such a reaction that happened so quickly and overnight. It was like phenomenal that there wasn't, then it was like, oh, we have these rules over here for the thing that we're dealing with here. It was, it was phenomenal. I agree. There should be a way for both the health and business.
Yeah.
Not either or, right?
Yeah, and you can care about 100 things, right? The thing that people don't realize is there are 1,000 injustices going on in the world every single day. It's impossible for one person to post about every injustice that goes on. Because I've got some comments, and once again, I'm making it some hot water. All I do is post about business. Don't you care about this movement or that injustice or that injustice? Right. I go, of course I do. But also there was someone just got killed yesterday for being XYZ. I didn't see you post about that. Like,
Yeah.
people are starting to tell me what to post. And to be honest, I'm just kind of getting over it because it's my social media, and I, being a business owner, that's the thing I'm most passionate about.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's what you live and breathe and what you do all day. And it feels like a lot of people, because they've had so many things taken away from them, Trevor, and they're not taking ownership or control of what is within their control. Like you said, there are plenty of things. There's books to read, there's internet, there's stuff we can do online. There feels like there's a lot of negativity and attacking other people, way more than before, like a lot more than before, because people aren't satisfied themselves. So they're getting a little bit of, I don't know, are they getting pleasure out of trolling someone else? I don't know. It's quite bizarre how much more it's gone up, or do they have more time? I can't figure it out.
I just don't have time to troll. I mean, I'm trying to run a business and scale. Like, I don't have time to look at comments and troll people and comment on every post out there. And a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's what, tell us what brought you onto TikTok, and what do you love about it? And while you still have it, Trevor, could be taken away from you.
Oh, I know. So TikTok is so funny. I'm 30, and man, I just feel like I'm this old person on TikTok. It's a bunch of 14-year-olds, but I can't tell you, I laugh. I'm in tears. It's such a funny app.
So funny.
It's so funny, and I have triple the following I have on TikTok in a month than I do on Instagram.
I know. Yeah, there's amazing traction on there, right?
If people wait to go on TikTok as business owners, or people that are entrepreneurs, you will be left behind, right?
Yeah.
You need, like, TikTok is cringeworthy and weird and awkward. And even I'm doing things, I'm like, I know I'm 30. Do I really want to be doing this? But it humanizes. That's the whole point of what our team here at Corporate Filming really does, is we humanize people. So I can't take that stance unless me as a CEO, I'm being quirky and awkward on TikTok, and people love it. Clients like love it. I sent Ford my TikTok and my storyteller video, where it's us talking about how I ref soccer, how I dance with the team at, like, the office. And they were like, I want that for our leadership.
Brilliant.
This COVID has just let this wall down. So TikTok, if you want to be a thought leader, TikTok is the way to go. Hashtag marketing, hashtag real estate, hashtag have fun with it. And you will, one of my posts got 1 million views, which is crazy. And that really helped us get up. TikTok is fun. If you're afraid to be on it, then I would ask yourself why. I would ask why, and realize it's going to make you stand out, which is the whole point of marketing.
And if nothing else, it's going to make you laugh. Some of the creativity of people in there, I am weak laughter. And there's some days, my goodness, have we needed a laugh through this last few months. I go in there, I've been watching some videos over and over again, because I know they're going to make me laugh. So I'll have a good laugh with them. And don't worry, I think everyone just get over that it's not teenage girls dancing. There is a whole world in there, from a spiritual world, from people doing mantras, and from people sharing how they make money online, to like websites and things that they're doing, to real estate tips, to makeup and beauty, but a lot of marketing. I've seen there's a guy from H&M, digital marketing in the H&M marketing department, and he's a marketing director, and he is banging out the content. Like, he's got a real job, Trevor, and there he is, like, TikTok, and it was his life away,
And I really believe Instagram is gonna go down. TikTok is just, it's funny. I kind of read something. TikTok is for beautiful, hot people that post all the beach pics. But I read somewhere that TikTok is actually going to show us, are they actually funny? Are they actually a human? Some of them aren't making it because they realize that you can't just post a hot picture of you on a beach. You have to actually engage people.
Right.
And, so to wrap on that, TikTok, if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, get on it. It's going to be awkward. Post once a day. It takes 4 minutes to do
Right. Yeah.
something. And I recommend it.
I love that. We'll wrap up here from an agency life point of view anyway, Trevor, and whatever messages you have for your audience, you can share those. But for our audience, which is all agency owners, what's some tips and advice you would give them as they head out into the second half of 2020? I'm not even going to call it a new anything. It's just, can we survive? Can we live another 6 months? What's your tips for people?
My tip in this whole new world that we're in is what worked earlier this year is not going to work the rest of this year. What got you here will not get you there. And that is a quote. I love quotes because even saying that reminds us that the old way of doing business is not going to work. It's going to start to teeter, even if it's a little bit. So what can you work on now that you can work on and get better at? And I think the one thing I want to leave people with is one of our taglines is people work with people, not logos. And if you just have your logo everywhere in stock photos, how are they going to get to know you? So you have to put your people front and center.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, thank you for doing this episode of Agency Life, and thank you for streaming on all your back channels.
Yes, of course. And people that are going to be watching this later, thank you. And thanks for having me on.
Where can people find you, Trevor? What's the easiest way so that when somebody's interested in learning more about what you do, where will they find you?
It's corporatefilming.net and franchisefilming.com. My email is trevor@corporatefilming.net. And my LinkedIn is my name, and social media, just search my name, Trevor Rapley, we will show up.
What's your TikTok handle?
I just changed it. Trevor Loves Marketing.
Gold. Absolutely. Believe it or not, guys, those kind of handles are very easy to get.
Oh, it's so literally I typed in Trevor and I think that was available. I'm like, that's too original. Or that's not.
Trevor Loves Marketing. I'll check it out later on today. Thank you so much, Trevor.
Of course. Thank you.